Right.
So wait a second.
Yeah.
Could I do the hood Harry Potter?
So,
Good Harry.
so there.
Harry Potter.
So you're.
What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Empower 610, where we
Power and Minds, one episode at a time.
are back to back with these nice
For sure. It feels good to be back.
back to back gems straight out of the winter.
Back to back like Drake diss track.
Oh yeah,
Something late.
some light. And so today we have two special guests, and these special guests come bearing gifts, come bearing gems.
Gifts, gems, all the above. And we just here to show some love, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're going to be getting into the topic of the music business that we've been talking about lately, but we're going to actually talk about the business side of things. So, nice. Would you give the intro to our guest today?
You know, we're all creatives here, but we also have the amazing and talented Jonathan Padilla that's on here. And he has such an amazing voice, and he's a creative, and he's working on some projects that he's going to get into. But then also we have this amazing entertainment attorney who's also a published author and also, you know, a creative talent as well. So if you guys could do us a favor and introduce yourselves, because y'all, I don't do y'all enough justice.
All right, what's up, everybody? My name's Jonathan. I go by J.Padilla.
Gang.
I'm 27. I'm from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Well, Lehigh Valley, basically, Allentown, Bethlehem, between both. I am a singer, songwriter, producer, recording artist, pretty much.
And he got the super fresh, crispy Air Force Ones on.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
One thing I'm going to do is be on some kicks.
shout out to my mother. She bought me them for Christmas.
Gang, shout out to Mom Dukes. Woo!
Yes, Mama Dukes.
Let's get it.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much about me.
He's being humble.
Yeah, I'm just, I sing, and if y'all like my voice, then follow me.
Gang.
Go ahead, Tuck.
There you go. Hey, everybody. I'm Bryan Tuk. I'm an attorney for God knows how long. 24 years now.
Sheesh.
Yeah. But I have a business and entertainment law. Split my time between Chester County, and I have a location in Bethlehem also. And glad to be here. It's good to see y'all again. It's been a minute or two.
Yeah, for sure. So what we getting into first?
So first things first is something that both of you have in common, and the reason why we invited both of you on the podcast to be in the same episode is the fact of you guys have similar experiences when it comes to being a creative and knowing about the power of owning your art. Because what a lot of creatives think is just because they created something that they actually own it. And in this world, in this day and age with the music industry, some creatives have that misinterpretation, and then it's someone else owning the art. And sometimes the listeners and the audience think that the money's going directly to the creative, and we know now that that's not always the case. So first things first, I want to start with Padilla, because I know that you had your personal experiences. If you could share as an indie artist from when you started, what were some of the experiences that you had when it came to learning about whether it be owning your masters, copyright, and things along those lines?
Okay, so to start off, first off, I feel like everybody's main goal is to get signed before like you learn about anything about being independent or anything like that. So first off, if you're trying to get signed, definitely, do that, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to get signed. But like, if you don't know what you're doing, just don't sign anything, because that's where I messed up. That's where I fucked up. I I basically just signed the first contract that I got offered. It was through a management company. I was stuck on a management company basically for 3 years. That they basically promised me stuff that never happened. They made me sign this contract. I looked over it, but I never got a lawyer, and I should have listened to my mother who told me not to sign it. But hey, I was eager. It was when I first dropped my broken song. You know what I mean? So I was like popping kind of in the valley, and
Right.
it was just so many people coming at me with different offers and stuff, and I'm just like, hey, like, okay, like, this is it, this is my moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's definitely something but then again, I was stuck on it for 3 years. I couldn't release basically anything. I couldn't work with people without them wanting to
Oh,
know who it
wow.
was or like approving it. But thank God I'm out of that. That was in like 2017, 2015, around there. So
Yeah.
And it's funny because what you said, like you once that one song like really hit, and that's how I heard of you.
mhm,
Um, a lot of artists are waiting for that moment,
yeah,
Mhm.
and some artists never experience it, but some artists do experience it, like yourself. And once you have that moment, it's a matter of now how do you react to all of this attention, all of these
yeah. I had
offers that you
no idea
didn't.
what I was doing. I had
Yeah.
no help. I had, you know what I mean. It was just me overnight. Just so many people hitting me up at one time. I'm just like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Right.
That's overwhelming. I'm glad
Yeah,
you're willing to talk about
of
that
course.
experience and share because I think that's the thing a lot of artists don't talk about or think about enough where it's like some people are so used to like putting music out into the void and they get a certain amount of views and they're on to the
Yep.
next song
Mhm.
that what are you going to do when success comes and then what type of discernment are you going to show? And I feel like
Mhm.
there's a lot of case studies that that exist, but regardless of sometimes even what you can't take into account for how that feels
Of course.
once
Right.
you finally get it, and you're in your creative bag. So you're like, wait, this is what I was waiting for.
Mhm.
And then it's hard to tell, like, well, no, maybe it's really not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it makes you look at everything a whole lot
Literally,
different.
I'm scared to sign anything. I'm just,
Yeah.
Well, I think the one of the most important things, here's a gem. I'm just going to headline this right now.
Let's
go.
go.
All right.
yes.
So in my background, I closed a lot of deals for banks and commercial real estate developers
Mm,
and moved a lot of money around the valley and elsewhere. And every good negotiator I've ever been around, business people I'm talking about now, um, they never go to the table to sign this, the closing table, as it
Mhm.
were. They never go to the table unless they're willing to walk away.
Yep.
If you go into a
Facts.
meeting feeling compelled, like, oh my God, I need this, I got to do this, I got to do this. Stop,
Yep.
what you're doing
Mhm.
and get somebody who can help talk it through with you,
Yeah.
So if you like, again, if you feel like you have to do something, more often than not, something bad is going to happen after that deal gets signed.
Mhm.
I have a
Right.
feeling. So
And it's funny because me and Nice both have experience in sales, and one of the things that we know just from being in experience in sales is that we know that your first offer when it comes to sales is not always the best offer, and that's
right.
why a lot of the times when negotiating, sometimes the best thing to say in the beginning is no,
Mhm.
because that will force the other person to do a counter objection and then
Yeah.
figure
Yep.
out where you can meet in the middle. And so I think it's super also important the fact that when a moment like that happens, whether it's the views, whether it's the money,
Mhm.
it's important to know who you have by your side.
Yep.
So Tuck, with your experience, I'm sure you heard a lot of stories just like Padilla's,
Hmm.
and let us know what an entertainment attorney does because many of our viewers are music artists, are independent, and they might not know the importance of it, especially having them by your side once they have to sign the line and everything's black and white.
Sure. Well, the most important thing that I do for other people, I think, is I'm with them on their journey, wherever,
Mm,
whether they're just starting out, whether they're already established, or whether they're in the like maturity of their career. You always have licensing deals coming your way. You always
mm,
have commercial opportunities. Every one of those things that you see, or every product that you purchase that has somebody's face on it, um, there's a contract
yep.
that documents that deal. And you'd be surprised. People sign things and just don't read them, and that
Yep.
happen. It
All the
happens to
time.
Me.
everybody. I'm not throwing darts at anyone.
Yeah.
It happens to younger people. It happens to older people,
Yep.
and or more seasoned people. I hate that term, but
Yeah.
Valid.
but you having another set of eyes on your contracts and bringing up things that you might not have thought of. Because whenever you're, let's say you've just finished 3 or 4 tracks and you're in a tunnel with that work. Okay, it's just been mixed, it's just been mastered. You're eager to get this out into
Mhm.
the world. Okay, so let's say right then you've produced it all yourself, and somebody wants to come along and distribute that for you, which in this day and age is kind of ridiculous because you can do that all yourself.
Yep.
Yep.
But there are people who will convince you that they're still, gatekeepers are more important than they actually are.
Facts.
And having another set of eyes on your agreement will help you. And that could be, and really, it's not specific to the entertainment industry. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
whether you're buying a house, you're signing a commercial lease,
Yep.
anything you're putting your name on.
Pen on paper.
Yep.
Yep. And it sucks because we're in such a microwave society.
Yeah.
And to your point, in so many things, we're always in this constant rush. But it's like, well, we can press pause. We can take time to do things the right way. But sometimes, you could be working so hard at something and you're just like craving it so bad.
Mhm.
But I always say when you're in a rush, you're blind.
Yep.
Think
Yeah.
about driving. If you're driving too fast on a road that's 25 miles an hour, you're more likely to run a red light, and then
Mm-hmm.
the consequences could be fatal.
And also, just to close or to add to that, if you are in a negotiation with somebody and you pause and they start pushing you like crazy, that's a red flag.
Big red flag.
Because if they really want a commercial relationship with you 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now, they're not going to chase the sale just to
Yep.
get the first thing done. They're going to, you would want somebody with you 10 years or right if they have your best interests
Right.
at heart. But if you
Longevity.
get a lot of pushback, be wary.
Yeah, you know what? To your point, and this is semi off topic, but I just had a mortgage company pull that with me.
Yep.
Mind you, I went into it just kind of looking through this website thing. I filled out a form. They called me and texted me within minutes. So I'm like, okay, you're a little beastie. This wasn't what I was looking for. But because I have a background in sales, I was like, you know what? Let me just entertain this call, teach him a lesson. Cause I'm like, y'all got to relax. So I told him exactly what my intentions were, what my timeline was. I was just
Yep.
seeking information. So me as being someone who worked in sales for a big part of my life, this person ignored everything I said, and he literally tried to rebuke my objection, and then rolled right into it. And I started laughing. And he's like, "What's so funny?" I said, "You guys are trained so well that you feel like you answered my objection." I said, "I worked in sales a big part of my life. I already communicated to you what my timeline was, and it was not right now."
Yep.
I said, "I'm an adult. I have your information already. I will gladly contact you." But then he like tried to answer, well, if and then rolled right again. I said, "I don't know if you didn't hear me, but you've just like reduced your chances of having a sales opportunity with
Yep.
me by 50%.
Yeah.
All because you're pushing the beast button. I know you're trained for that." I said, "But I worked in sales a really long time, so I get it." And he tried it again. I said, "Oh, well, you know what? I already got your information. If I want to change my mind in the timeline that I gave you, I'll call you back. But I probably won't." Plain and
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
You know what, like, the sad truth is, what I feel like when it comes to like stuff like that with contracts and everything, I feel like people, it's never really in your interest at the end of the day. People are always going to try to make something off you. They're always trying to find the next buck. They're always trying to find the
Yeah.
next big move, or like they're always
Yep.
trying to jump on something that's going to make them the most money. And that's the sad truth when it comes to like these contracts and stuff, because they don't care about your mental health. They don't care about, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, what you're going through. They just want that money.
Yeah, and what I always say to people is like, good business is when everybody wins. So
Mhm.
when I worked in advertising, you know, my sales reps that worked around me and my boss, they used to think I was crazy because I would present proposals and they would kind of buck at them. And I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I really don't care if you buy or not. I know this sounds crazy. You're not used to hearing this, but I know how thorough I am about what's gonna work for your business. And I worked with nothing but small, medium-sized businesses. I said,
Mhm.
so I really don't care if you choose to go with me or not, or choose one of these packages. Based on what you told me your needs were, here's some options. And if you want, you can go to another company and that's fine. But I know how those sales reps work and I'm not bad mouthing nobody, but you can feel free to go entertain them. And if you want to come back, you come back. If not, it's no big deal to me. I promise you, I have people waiting in line to deal with me.
Yep.
So it's all good. So people around me like, yo, you're crazy. I said, no, I'm just authentic. Like I
Yeah.
know the information of what's gonna work because I got used to certain areas that I'm like, nah, this will work for this type of business based on what their needs are. And I never really tried to like oversell it. I want to
Yeah.
sell them things that are gonna work, under promise, over deliver. And my clients, they love me for that because I'm like, I'm not here to sugarcoat nothing, man. But
That's
it's
what
gonna
I'm
work for
saying,
all of
yeah.
us.
I used to work at a job that I used to do it like that. Like, just be honest and be upfront.
Yep.
Like, you're not gonna want this internet slow as hell. Like, you know what I mean? And I was
Word.
and I was top seller, you know what I mean? Because I was honest and I was genuine, and I'm like, this is what you're gonna need. That you have to find what they need in order to sell them something. You're not gonna try to sell somebody something if they don't need it. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want to stream that 4K. You're not going to stream
Right.
that with
You don't- you don't
with
want
this internet.
You ain't gonna play 3 Xboxes with 100 megabits per second. I'm sorry.
You're not going to stream in Power 610 with the lowest package.
I was waiting for that shameless plug. I was waiting for the SpongeBob shameless plug.
I'm dead.
But bringing it back to what we were talking about. So when it comes to, you know, a lot of the times also the terms in the paperwork, right? We hear a lot, especially in hip hop, of artists bragging about, I own my masters. Big one, Jay-Z, owning his masters. So, but for artists starting out, Tuck, can you explain to us what that even means? What does that even
Sure.
look like, owning your masters, and why is it important of not selling that copyright to the recordings?
Yep. Okay. So here's the quick tour. You write a song. Okay. You have a musical composition, right? There's a structure to it. Intro, verse 1, chorus 1, there, the whole bit. That is known in the legal world as the composition. Okay, that's one thing. The song has now been put into a digital form, right? And now we're going to take that digital form, that's called a sound recording. That is going to be reproduced. We're going to make, whatever we're going to make, USB drives, CDs, vinyl, the whole bit. Those are two separate things. Now, the songwriter almost always retains rights over the composition. I have an example that's going to make everybody's eyes roll, but I have to do it. So let's say we've written the song. We don't have the money to hire a band and whatever, an orchestra, like whatever it is that you need to bring this thing to reality.
Right.
That's where the record company comes in. And they say, okay, we're going to give you a budget of $25,000. And we're going to give you somebody to help you manage that. You're going to budget out what the musicians are, how much the engineer is going to get paid, rental on instruments, studio engineers' fees, all that stuff. And the think of the record label like it's a bank.
Facts.
All right. They're advancing the money. They're going to want it back plus.
Yep.
So as a result of those types of deals, the company, the record company, owns the recording. They don't own the song. They own the recording though. Okay, so stay with me here. The master recordings are what are used to create another 10,000 units, another pressing of the record. The masters are almost always owned by the record company, unless you negotiate that in your deal, right? So ownership of the masters is really important because that is a point of, it's a fulcrum. It's a point of leverage that you can use if the record starts selling really well and the company comes back to you and goes, hey, we want to do another 150,000 units. All right, well, now my royalty is going to go up for me to give you permission to copy it again 150,000 times.
That's fire.
So you just got to know what to look for.
I never thought of it that way. That's crazy. Like you're really selling so many copies of your music, and it's just like
You're duplicating it.
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. I just thought of it like as a download.
So here's the Taylor Swift story real quickly is here's how you get around not owning the masters. And this was a brilliant and expensive, very expensive strategy, but it paid off. So she records 6 records. The masters of those first 6 albums get sold to Universal Music Group. Now she got paid a ton of money, right? Like a couple $100 million, as I recall.
Yeah.
However, the masters were now owned by Universal Music Group. So if anyone wants to do anything with any of those songs, commercials, film placement, you name it, Universal is now the gatekeeper. So at some point she wanted, this is the part of the story I think is a little bit odd. You've sold the asset, you've gotten value back, a lot of value. you don't have any kind of moral right. We'll talk about moral rights in a second. It's a totally different animal. There's no moral right that the creator has that they're entitled to buy the thing back. Unless there was some reversion clause in the purchase agreement that said, all right, I'm going to sell you the masters for $100. But paragraph 17 says I can buy them back for $125 if I want to in the next 10 years. So what they decided to do, since the songwriter owns the songs, she just hired a band, hired a studio, and re-recorded those first 6 records, which is a massive undertaking. And I think, you can look back to other bands that have done that and
So she remastered the whole thing. Her
Yeah.
whole CD?
redid the whole thing.
Did she own still the rights to the lyrics?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a songwriter. She writes her own.
Yeah, so music and lyrics.
So they just owned the recording. They didn't own the lyrics.
Correct.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's where that comes
But
into play.
it helped her because, like, to Tuck's point, like, she was publicly speaking out about this, and it was like her versus Scooter Braun and UMG and what those contracts were like. So she wanted to buy those assets back, and they were just like, "Yeah, nah, you already sold them to us."
Yeah,
So she knows she could do that. But the thing for how it worked is because she has such a massive following.
Yeah.
They had a really crazy rollout for how they rolled out those projects that it ended up actually blowing up her brand even more because people treated her like the hero for artists and then all the others as like the villains. And she had that beef with Spotify.
Mhm.
So it helped to create her more of this like hero versus the villains, which ended up working in her favor. So people now go out and stream those 6 projects more than the older ones.
Yeah, she got a big fan base. They'd do anything for her.
They call them the Swifties, right?
Swifties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know if you think if Nice Jones is a Swiftie or not. Let us know in the comments.
Tell me you don't know
Crazy as
blank
hell.
space.
What's that? What? Unless she's giving me a feature, I don't listen to that.
Be forever. Oh, it's gonna go down.
Oh man, that's definitely his bop.
Notice how I didn't bop at all.
I'm crying.
In fact, I don't even watch football, and I watched the Ravens versus the Chiefs, and I was like, you know what, I want Lamar Jackson to win. And now I finally see what everyone's been talking about on Twitter, where
Yeah.
they're showing Taylor Swift way too much. Because I was like, bro, why you keep showing me this chick? I'm not here for this. I'm here to watch the game. It was annoying.
Because they're gonna get headlines. That's why.
Honestly, I watched her
Got killer.
documentary and it was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I like watching a lot of artist documentaries.
Me-
Like
me
I
too.
literally watched J Lo's for the Super Bowl. It was pretty good.
Watch Hitsville. I talk about it all the time.
Who's
Please
that?
watch Hitsville. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Hitsville is a documentary about Motown and how Motown got
Oh, I
started.
love Motown. Yeah.
Motown shifted the entire landscape of music and how they created music. So
Yeah.
I love their blueprint.
I remember you
Yeah, I
showing me
definitely need
that.
to watch that one.
Bruh, nonstop. I just watched it again the other night. Like, I swear I watched this documentary like 7 times.
It's nice.
So quick question to
Jones.
Tuck. Normally, is that a practice that artists can take, or is that kind of frowned upon in the industry?
Well, it's all about leverage, and if if you can produce the thing yourself and get a result that you're proud of,
Mm,
then produce it yourself.
Mhm.
It's not that expensive,
yeah.
right? I mean, you could, with a budget of, the reason some of these records cost, hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce is because you have 20 people sitting around.
Yeah.
Everybody's on the clock.
Yep.
And there's a lot of hands in there are just a lot of hands. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
And I think very few, transcendent things are created by a committee.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
Dark Side of the Moon
classic.
was not written by 60 people. It was probably
Yeah.
like 3 dudes. Probably the two. It was probably Waters and Gilmore, and the other guys just hung out and played on the tracks.
Got into their bag.
Yeah, it's crazy now. Like I be seeing, because now you can see on like who writes the songs and like Apple Music, like in the bottom and
Well,
stuff.
they finally added credits.
Bruh, it'd be the wackest song in history. The same, the same 3 bars, bro, and it have like 15 writers on that shit. I'm like,
Well, that's the crazy thing because you'll have so many writers because It could be like the writers who were like actually actively working on that, and they may have contributed a word, 2 lines, whatever. But then if they sampled that from another song or interpolated on that song,
Yep.
those
True.
writers have to be credited too because it's
100%.
their
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
So
No, of
you'll
course.
see that with this long list. Because I like what you said because
Mhm.
I was a credits nerd as a kid. So
Yeah.
anytime new albums dropped,
See
I
who's
was
on
the
the
kid
credits.
that bought the album at the CD store, popping the CD, and I'm sitting there
Facts.
reading through it like I know these people. But then I started to notice patterns because I'm
Mhm.
really pattern driven. So I love it. And I like to stream on Tidal because I'm a music snob. The
Yeah.
audio quality is different, but
Really?
ever since I
never-
had it, I always loved that they always had credits. Whereas like Apple and Spotify just started adding credits like in recent years.
You know, us as artists are on a bunch of these platforms that we don't even never use. Like, who uses Deezer?
Word. What's a Deezer?
What is Deezer?
The only D's we acknowledge is D's nuts.
I'm dead.
Please
But
don't
I-
cancel us, Deezer.
Yeah,
I wish y'all.
Keep my
I
music
wish.
on there because
I wish y'all would. I'm gonna just say that. I ain't scared of y'all. But I got a question for Tuck. And it's just a random question that came to my head because
Sure.
I'm just random like that. But you talked about different types of deals and deal flow with artists and reconstructing songs and whatnot. My question for you is that something that you help your clients with as far as like, do you know about like funding sources or mechanisms that may exist, or do you have other like clients that you can say, you know what, there's this client or this label that's looking for something? Do you have any experience with anything like that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, part of the job as the companion on the creative journey is to help maybe make connections that that let's say it's a young songwriter that's 20 years old or 19 years old that is just starting out.
Yeah.
That's somebody that's likely going to sign a bad deal.
Right.
Not because they're not smart, just because it's first time around the block, you might
Yep.
run into something. So
yeah, we young, dumb, and broke.
It be like that.
Facts.
So part of it is that, and I think that you need one big. There's I've been meaning to get to this. In any market, okay, let's just talk about markets in general, whether it's the stock
Mhm.
market or real estate or what have you. The disparity in information that people have determines on how well they're going to end up doing.
Mm.
So if I know that X producer, their fee normally is, I don't know, $3,000 per song, let's just say, let's just call it 3,001%, right? If somebody comes to me with a production deal and the fee is $7,000 a song and 2 points, I'm going to go, well, hold on a second. Like, here's what this other guy got. This is really the price. So
Right.
if you're not aware of what
Mm.
if you're not aware of what the pricing is in a market, that's when you get taken for a ride. And again, that's stock market, real
Yep.
estate,
Facts.
anything.
So
Yeah.
Tuck, like, where can we find this information of like all it, like the pricing that it's supposed to be and stuff like that? You know what I
Well,
mean?
it would be great if there was some
Yeah, like
clearinghouse,
knowledge
you know?
based system.
but you
Yeah.
have to you get with somebody that's experienced, that's been around the block.
Yeah.
I if I'm 20, I want my
Right.
professional advisors
Mhm.
to have been in the thing for a long time.
Facts.
That's the hack.
And it's
is
not an
experience.
age thing, it's an
Mm.
experience thing.
Yeah, that experience is such a hack, and that's the beauty and the struggle of the internet, right? Because a lot of times, I constantly feel like people aren't researching enough, and they're just
Mhm.
going off the cuff, right? But you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
But you have to be informed. You have to be educated. And mind you, I've worked in colleges for the last 12 years. I'm a firm believer of knowledge is just not in the classroom. You got to be seeking it out.
Mhm.
So if you're going into something you don't know about, you should be seeking it out, whether it's in formal books,
Mhm.
internet, using AI, things like that. So I feel like that's the number one thing is like seeking out information and seeking out experts and even like, mentors. Why I was interested in that question was I feel like that's something artists struggle with a lot.
Mhm.
Where I'm always saying like especially back in the day when I was publishing my magazine and I was doing some consulting. My number one thing with them, stop looking at yourself as just a music artist. Start looking at yourself as a business.
Entrepreneur.
You are
Right.
a business.
Yep.
Yep.
So the
100%.
moment you look at yourself as, hey, I'm Nice Jones, but I'm also Nice Jones the business. I have to separate them. What am I
Yeah.
doing in this creative act? What am I doing on this business act? Right. And I can go create something, but now at some point, once I create the product, the business guy got to step in and figure out, all right, how can I take this and chop it up 7 ways and get paid from all of
Yeah.
them? You know what I
Facts.
mean? And so I feel like artists struggle with that and they feel, magical thinking, right? I created this thing and I feel like it's great. So I put it out. Someone's just going to discover it. Not realizing that, you just threw a bottle in the ocean.
Yeah. And just to add on to that, because I think that's a perfect transition. Padilla, you as an artist, as an indie artist, what are some of the stuff that you personally struggle with? Not necessarily on the creative side, because we already talk about that a lot, but like kind of switching that mode from being creative to business.
I guess with business wise, it's more of like you not knowing where to go, where to start, you know what I mean? So like basically just promoting yourself. That's something that I've always struggled with. I don't know who to do. I don't know what to, you know what I mean? Like you can always buy promotion, you know what I mean? But like literally, does that ever really do anything but show that you got views and nobody ever just,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's just for show at this point. So that's something I've always struggled with as an artist. Just making it out of my city, basically. Like, I feel like as artists we're stuck in one spot sometimes. I feel like people in your area, not me personally, because I feel like I got a lot of support in my area, but like artists out here, they don't support. You know what I mean? Um, that's something people supporting, just stuff like that, basically.
It's a good one that my post I continue to get notifications about this,
Yeah.
with this whole support thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
Because I'm like, I hear people saying, somebody posted, I forget what the young woman's name was. I would give her a shout out because I like that it got a lot of attention, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It said, people in the Lehigh Valley have talent, but the Lehigh Valley lacks like supporting people. And so, I see that it resonated with a lot of people, and I get how people arrive there. But for me, it was like, I was too busy focusing on who and what supports me
Of
to
course.
notice who's not supporting me.
Yeah.
So I create from the soul. Even this platform is just from the soul. The stuff I do with my students is from the soul. If I design something, it's from the soul. I'm gonna put it out there. Whoever it's gonna fly with, it's gonna fly with. And if it don't, it
Oh
don't.
God, yeah.
I
And
don't care.
And
It's
one-
sincere all the time.
me as an artist, one thing that I came to a conclusion with is that no one's going to care about your art more than you do.
Oh God, you have to do it for yourself. You can't do it for fame and this and that. If you don't fuck with your own music, then how's someone else gonna? You know what I mean?
It's all contagious.
You can't do it for the them. You have to make music because you love it and you want to do it for you, and it makes you feel the type of way,
Yep.
not because you think it's gonna make someone else feel the type of way.
I fuck with me heavy.
Yeah, I fuck with. That's what I learned this year. To be honest, I was always one of those down and depressed people in a room, just making music and just hoping something would happen. And then now I'm just, I love myself. I came out last year as bisexual and stuff like that. So like I'm finding myself. I cut all my hair off. You know what I mean? Because I felt like balding was one of the things that really was a insecurity of mine. Like and a lot of men too. So that's something too.
Yeah, you also grew that beard, bro.
Yeah. Shout out.
I knew he was gonna have to bring that up. Like
You know
he
what's
was
crazy?
waiting for his chance to talk about
So
the
me-
beer. That's crazy.
Me and Lewis go way back. Like Lewis is one of my bros. From back in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
We did a lot of things together, music together. That's one of my dogs. I appreciate him forever for everything he's ever done for me.
What?
But yeah, one thing he's told me was to always grow a beard because I look like I don't even know what I look.
Yeah.
Without a beard, you don't want to see me without a beard.
Yeah, he had a
Little baby.
Yeah,
He had a little
he had a baby face during
and
that
a fucking
time.
comb over. That was the ugliest shit I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he had a
Talk
baby
about-
face. He was like, "Yo, I'm really trying to get my artist image out,
like-
but I don't know how to go about it." 'cause
Selfie
Bro,
roast.
because I was just so insecure. Like I just,
Yeah.
and I got out of that. Thank God. I love me. I love my life. I
that's
love,
real though.
I love what I'm gonna make, and I look forward to the future instead of just being down all the time. And it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
When you embrace that, it hits different, and
Embracing
the energy
yourself.
comes off. And you
Yeah.
know what? I'm glad you brought up like the image side of it because
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it's like this part of the creation process, especially with music, it's just not talked about enough that like your image is a thing, right? But it's not to the
Yeah.
point where you're so self-conscious that
Mhm.
you're second guessing it because everyone feels your ability to second guess yourself. Like your confidence shows
Yeah,
whether
it's
good, bad, or indifferent. But if you
literally a voice in
actually,
your head.
it is. So there's nothing wrong with like one identifying what you want to do, but also maybe talking to somebody that you identify with, like they're really good with fashion or they're really good with image. Let me just ask them,
Yeah,
hey, if you were me, what do you think I would do? What would you recommend?
yeah.
And I feel like artists, like, you know, independently, that's something they don't think about is
Mhm.
like image consultation or like, you know,
Mhm.
having friends that'll be honest with you. Cause I don't mind roasting my friends. I've had friends
Oh,
that were into modeling. They're like, what do you think of these pics? And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. as
My
a
cousin told me I
photographer,
look
they're
like a Hickley Town hero, if you know what that is. Or Humpty Dumpty. Yo, they just be
Yo.
cutting on me, bro. They just be cutting on me, and you know what I mean? It's whatever. I cut back.
Nah, yeah.
trash. Exactly. I love the joke.
I love jokes. Too.
Nah, but I knew Padilla for a while. His drip game definitely like he upped his level every
Oh, yeah.
time. Every year he had new drip.
Facts.
It's
But yeah.
important, but you feel way more confidence. And that's the thing is
Yeah,
like
honestly.
when you dress confident, you feel confident. That
Yeah.
confidence comes through the speakers. It comes
Mhm.
through how you deliver. If you got to go speak somewhere, it
Yeah.
shows up every single place. And
Yeah.
even in, like I always say, we're always selling even when we're not selling.
Facts. And
People
honestly,
buying to you.
it's just your mind over matter. To be honest, like
Yeah.
your mind is gonna be your biggest enemy.
See? Look at that.
And you not being able to control your mind is something that like I feel like mental health is a big thing.
I always
Sponsored
say,
by Better Health. No, I'm just kidding. But
no, we really are, though. I always say trust mom, right? Which mind over matter, and your mom bought you those kicks. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
it's an
Yeah.
acronym.
Nah. Facts. Nah. My mom's my life, bro. That's
Mind over matter and trust your mom.
facts.
So what other like bringing it back to the business side of things?
Mhm.
So what other kind of stuff have you faced as well as an artist? Because there's several things that you got to wear many hats because
Yeah.
you're basically like the entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Not having enough like of a big of a network, right?
Mhm.
You talked about the promotion as well aspect of it. What else in the
Um,
business side of things? How do
honestly,
you go about getting shows?
That's another thing. You need management. You need somebody to help you get these shows and manage, and set up a schedule. Because if I'm producing, songwriting, doing all this and doing all that, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it would be helpful if someone would like
Right.
help
Sure.
me get shows and help me do this and help me do that. It's just literally it's financial issues now with artists all over. I think
Right.
everybody's just struggling financially, and it's harder to release everything and to make all these moves and stuff if you don't got the bread for it. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's facts. And that's part of the reason why I asked Tuck about that question with the
And
finance.
that's why people get stuck in these contracts because they don't got the bread for it. And
they don't got the
Yeah.
bread and they can't get themselves out.
Easy
So
way out.
I want to start a label or I want to, put out my own project. So it's
Mhm.
like, all right, well, maybe I feel like I have this amazing product. How do I get funding
Yeah.
to support,
Shark Tank.
this mission? You know what I'm saying? So, and you say Shark Tank, it makes me wonder, like, has anybody approached Shark
Mhm.
Tank from a label
Yeah.
perspective for
Well,
doing something like creative, right? And so I'd love to do that because,
That'll be
although I'm not always into like the creation of music, I feel like my ear is pretty
He's
solid
capping.
and
He's
I know how
capping
things
hard.
should look.
He's
Mhm.
capping.
I'm not capping.
I seen a podcast where they
Yo,
said I used to rap.
Yo, he did.
I used to
recorded.
rap. Who said
Oh.
that?
Bro, search his name.
the-
Search his name.
Don't do that.
No, it was the guy that
AI be wildin'.
that played the guitar for Nyla.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tug. Yeah.
Bro,
That's
yeah.
my guy. Shout out to him.
We're gonna link that. He be capping.
No,
Don't
I'm
listen,
no,
don't
I'm-
listen to Nice Jones. He be trolling.
I'm gonna drop an album this year on my own label, but I'm trying to find some funding. So Tuck, you got somebody who got me.
well, here's
Are you gonna be on my album?
I got you with a feature. Let me know.
Look at that. I'm stacking up features, producers,
Ya tú
videographers,
sabes.
attorney. Where the money at?
well,
Ski Mask Shorty, you got us? Thanks. Say
You
less.
know what's funny? I just drank nothing on the pod.
Big cap.
so to your point about where's the money, there's a couple of concepts I wanted to bring up, which was I had a conversation with a drummer
Mm.
who's drum famous, but not like nobody on the street would know who.
Like he's
this
an
person
industry,
is.
known in the
Right,
industry.
yeah.
Yep.
And he lives in a nice-ish apartment in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And he travels he plays in Europe, plays in the US, plays in Canada, like travels all over and does his thing. And he said to me something it stuck with me to this day. He goes, I don't need 1 million fans.
Facts.
I need 100,000 worldwide. If I have 100,000 people that will do something for me every year, whether it's a CD, like $10 for a CD or
Yeah.
$25 concert ticket,
That's money.
That's a million a year.
If you have 100,000 or like 10,000 people, like let's say you had an audience of, or in your, in your tribe, in your group, whatever you want to call it,
Yep.
let's bring it down to a manageable number. Let's get 1,000 people. You could easily crowdsource a budget for a fairly expensive record that you have time to work on and bring other people in and pay everybody. And you come out of it owning the thing.
Yeah.
That's
And
the key.
then you give you give some benefits to, you give me $100, you get a signed copy. You give me $1,000, I'll put you in the liner notes, and we'll do a Zoom, and we'll give you a preview of the stuff before it comes out.
Yep.
Like there's a rock band out of Chicago that is really good at this. District 97 is their name.
Nice.
And when they go to do a new record, they raise, $25,000-$30,000 because they've toured enough to get that number of people, whatever it is. It's different for everybody. But if you could, and it's really like in any, like if you go to a service business, whether it's accounting or real estate or what I do, once you reach your number, you're self-sustaining, and you can do business with people or not do business with people at will. It's incredible.
Yep.
And we're not, like my wife and I, we're not jetting off to Paris every spring or anything like that. But I don't have to work with anybody I don't want to work with.
And that's a
I
different
like
type
Amen.
of freedom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm always telling entrepreneurs and musicians, whoever that I work with, you could do a lot by just, people are so focused on, I need to go platinum, I need this huge fan base. Like, you can do a lot with your first 10, your first 50, your first 100. Once
Sure.
you create a tribe, which is one of my favorite books, Tribes by Seth Godin,
Mhm.
creating a tribe, you have disciples for life.
Mhm.
And then I'm always asking people, because it's always a fun thing. I'm like, well, what's the most strongest form of advertising? And some people will be quick to be like, social media. I'm like, no. Word of mouth.
Yep.
Start with word of mouth.
Yep.
Social media can be word
Absolutely.
of mouth on steroids, but if you're only selling, people will tune you out. If you're building authentic connections, people will be tuned in, and they're more likely to sell, like I said,
Mhm.
when you're not selling. And I feel like I had a lot of proof of concept with that last year, because I wasn't doing much creative wise. I was working and doing certain things on the side and consulting people on the side. But then getting involved with we started in Power 610. I started an amazing brand with my lady, Nice and Bright, and did events with both, did merchandise with both, sold stuff. I don't care who supports. You're either gonna support or you don't.
Mhm.
It's pretty simple, right?
Yeah,
But
Absolutely.
it's like you can do a lot with a little. And a matter of fact, even with my photography, I don't even advertise that I do photography like that. And
Yeah.
last year I was busiest. I was looking at my checklist. I'm like, wow, last year I did my first prom, first graduation, first Sweet 16, first college graduation photos.
Facts.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, okay, the work is there. I just don't even literally be like, oh, hey, book me for this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not pressed for it because I'm so busy with so many things, but it's enjoyable.
Mhm.
So even with that, like,
And
you can do so much with a little, just doing right by a little and just building.
Fact.
So there's a YouTuber that I follow. His name is Jesse Cannon. Must Information does a lot of good content about what we're talking about, and this is good. This is actually somebody that you should follow as well.
Who I
Talks
look-
about
What's
building
his
a
name? I'll look him up right now.
Jesse Cannon. So he talks about building community, and this goes back to that post, right? A lot of people, let's say in our specific town, Allentown, music artists start recording music. They finally come out with their song. They think it's a hit,
Yeah.
and they think their community should support them,
Mhm.
right? But they
Mhm.
never built that community. Your community is not Allentown.
right.
That's
Your
right.
community is your tribe, like you said, of
Mhm.
followers.
Mhm.
Yep.
And like what Tuck was saying is, what type of value are you giving to that community besides
Yep.
music?
Yeah.
Because it's not you can't come to an entitlement of like, just because I create
Bingo.
art,
Entitlement.
just because I
Yeah.
create art, everyone has to support me. Because
Yeah.
if that was the case, anybody that created any piece of art would
Yeah.
get support. and it would be a yes
right.
man society.
Some of that art is lazy. Let's call it for what it is. Like,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I can go in and just write some BS. I can record some BS, upload it, and be like, you know what? These people like my post a bunch of times. They should support this.
So
Entitlement.
and it's
You know what's crazy? That's the stuff that's popping right now. Is the people that and it just makes us feel like us as real artists that really like take time and do our music and stuff. It makes us feel like shit, knowing that there's people just saying pa on radio,
yeah.
and it's just popping and making millions in dollars, and all these people are supporting it. Like, what does music come to? You know what I mean? Like, I want to bring that old school back, like
And
feel and R&B feel.
But and it's funny because a lot of people talk about like the old school and the R&B feel,
Mhm.
and that still has a community in itself.
True.
Because there's a lot of still R&B artists that still have that community,
Mhm.
but many artists struggle building that community. And this is going to be like a homework assignment for you too.
Yeah.
So
Not him
follow.
giving out homework.
Right.
yeah, this is no.
Yes,
it's
sir.
it's
he be stealing my jobs. That's crazy.
Damn.
The disrespect.
Right. Nice was the
podcast.
teaser.
So
Crying.
so the nice thing, the nice thing, funny enough, is the fact that building that community, figuring out how you give value to that community, right?
Yeah.
Building up that crowdsourcing, right? So what are you gonna do to package that up,
Mhm.
and how serious are you gonna be about it?
Mhm.
Because it's not only about making a song. It's not nowadays. It's not even only about making a music video, because a music video isn't enough. You have to create content and then figure out all these different pieces of content and give people a version of you.
Yeah.
One thing I was talking to Nice about is that a lot of artists don't consider is you guys make music, right? You guys never thought about like interviewing yourselves and talk about the song that you just made,
Yeah.
the story behind it, be an actual person, not just try
Yeah.
to give the glamour of an artist.
Yeah. Layers.
Because
Mhm.
the more authentic you are as an artist, the more people can relate to that, and the more people will see you as a person.
Yep. And this stems from for everyone out there and everyone here, like this stemmed from a really authentic conversation him and I had. And I'm just like, yo, think about it. If you're just creating music, like everyone can do that and press upload.
Yep.
But think about it. Everyone in this room and everyone listening, you've been watching and reading and being, living with stories since you were a child.
Yeah.
Everything in the world is storytelling.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can sit here, we could all go to the studio tonight,
Mhm.
record a song, and then record a session to talk about how that song came about
Yeah.
and position it and sell it, and people would eat it up because it'd be like, oh, that's
that's
actually
facts.
dope. Y'all were talking on a podcast, and then you talked about making a song, and then all of a sudden we did it, and we did this and that, and it can all be pieces of content that makes people more inside, like they felt like they were inside the room in the experience with us, and now they're buying into us, even if we only limited it to just this is a streamed piece of thing. Now I'm against that. It's more or less like, well, no, if you want it, you can buy it somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even if it's for a short period of time, try to sell some and just see what happens.
And the funny part about that is Lil Russell's big on that too, because you sent me actually the article where he put out a project, an album, and he told his community, because
Oh,
he
yeah.
built up his community. He said, you pay what you want.
Yep.
Normally an album would be like $10, $12, whatever. There was people paying 20. There was people paying 50.
Yep.
And it was
Wow.
just based off of him building that community, people seeing him putting in the work, that consistency.
Yep.
People respected his art so much. They're like, you know what? I want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of these artists lack. And this is going to be the perfect transition,
That's right.
because it's only going to get worse, because now AI is in the mix.
Oh, AI.
So, and this
And we're not talking Allen Iverson.
yeah. So we've seen a lot of tracks
Oh,
come
man.
out. We've seen AI Bad Bunny. We've seen AI Drake.
Drake.
Yep.
AI Bad Bunny's lit.
How about AI Kanye? Have you heard that one?
I
Oh, Lord, yeah,
I
heard
have.
so.
But this is the thing, right? So in a world now where like the creatives are competing with AI, and this is crazy because I remember you specifically, Tug, you wrote an article about this years ago.
Yep.
Where you were like, will this replace the artist? And you were ahead of your time with that.
Thank you.
Now,
Wow, Tuck ahead of the time.
yeah.
You know what I'm becoming to realize? Tuck is the plug.
Yeah.
He's the plug to all the industry stuff. He's the.
So
I got to keep tucking the tuck.
Yep.
He has a newsletter.
right,
Oh, bet.
right, facts. So I want to hear it from the legal side and the business side and your perspective, right? How do you think AI is going to change the game if it didn't already? And then from your side on the creative aspect of it, how is AI going to change it for you?
Quick tour. Um, in the publishing world, there have been quite a few lawsuits brought by the Authors Guild and various authors. I mean, majors, right? Against OpenAI, which is the parent company that has the product ChatGPT. Now, how ChatGPT was trained is the coders or whoever the evil minions are that run that thing took all these books, scanned them, and the large language model, which is what it's called, learns how to write in the style of John Grisham or whomever. Doesn't matter who it is. Those lawsuits basically have been filed in the last 6 months in various federal courts, some in California, some in New York. And it's too early to tell, but basically the theory of the case is, pick a book, anything, fiction. Somebody help me. All right, so the first Harry Potter book, that's a copyrighted property. You cannot copy it. You can't copy it. I can't go to a library and photocopy that thing. That's technically a violation of the Copyright Act, and it triggers all the penalty provisions.
Right.
So wait a second.
Yeah.
Could I do the hood Harry Potter?
So
Good Harry.
so there
Harry Potter.
So you're
I'm good for you. You know how I get down. I have a whole. I'm not gonna.
all right. So all right, I'll stay on track. I promise. All right. So to your question, could there be a hood Harry Potter? Maybe.
Yes,
But-
sir.
But well, hold on. So there's this thing called fair use.
Yep.
All right. Now, fair use is written into the U.S. Copyright Act. Now, what fair use is a limited set of circumstances under which you can use protected material for education, satire, and a few others. It's like a really deep rabbit hole. But the problem is if you're satirizing something and you're commercializing that, that's the problem. So if you want to do a parody of any film or any character and you put that on YouTube and it's free and you're not monetizing it, you're probably okay.
Okay.
But you can't. One of the other fair use issues is how much of the protected material are you using? If it's a 2-hour film, I can't shoot a shot-for-shot parody of
That makes
the
sense.
first Harry Potter film
Yep.
and then upload the whole thing and expect to not get in huge trouble.
Right.
But if there was like one scene, like that's how all these sketch
Like
sketch
Saturday Night Live
I
and
was gonna
stuff.
Yeah, that's how all these sketch
They
comedy
live in
shows-
color. Let's go.
Yeah, so that's how they get away with doing that. If it's one element out of Harry Potter and it's a 2-minute sketch,
Yeah.
probably fair use.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I take Harry Potter to Southside Queens, we good. Because that don't exist in Harry Potter.
You just
though.
can't put an ad behind it. Right?
I wouldn't. Well, everything is very fact.
And Power can't sponsor.
Everything is very fact
No,
specific in
another
this
business.
in this part of the
We'll
legal
st-
world, which
we'll-
is part of the problem.
We'll start a whole nother LLC just for the skits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big facts.
sue that one and not this one.
Yeah. Sorry.
That one has no assets.
Yeah, right.
Just creative. We're just hijacking skits. Hijacking Harry Potter coming soon.
You know what's crazy? I'm not supposed to be drinking soda. Like I quit it for like a month, and this is all. I was just like, fuck it.
Yo.
So back to the AI thing. Back to the AI thing, real quick. So that's just in the publishing world. In the music world right now, things are really starting to break loose with these AI models of voices.
Yeah.
So I can sing into a microphone, and if I have the Johnny Cash plug-in
Yeah.
on Pro Tools, I start sounding a lot like Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Now the one thing that just happened that's totally on point with all this is that horrendously unfunny AI George Carlin
Yo.
YouTube thing. Did you see that?
I haven't yet.
Okay, so this broke probably about a couple weeks ago. So I think I don't want to say what I think. I'll just tell you what I know about it. Somebody, I'm not going to name names, um, they wrote an hour-long comedy special in what they thought was the style of George Carlin. Primarily, I guess, from a construction of the jokes and how the stories are built.
Mhm.
And then they delivered that material using a George Carlin AI voice model. It kind of sounds like him, but
Yeah.
it's not funny. You can see it's like the fourth cousin once removed of George Carlin. Like you can see the resemblance.
It doesn't have no soul to it.
Correct.
Yep, sounds AI-ish.
Now,
Yeah.
when this happened, the family of George Carlin was pissed, as they should be,
Imagine.
because it's really
Yeah.
like walking over somebody's grave, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Much.
He was one of the greatest of all time, and it's over. And people need to
Respect that.
get a grip on that idea that people are here for a while, then they're gone.
Yeah.
And
Let's
that's
not.
it.
We're not going to resurrect the Rolling Stones in 20 years or 40 years or whatever. Maybe they will. I don't know.
Tupac is not in Cuba.
There you
Right.
go.
Right.
Bob
So
Marley is though.
so in any event, the Carlin estate filed suit. I believe it's in the Southern District of New York. To filing a copyright infringement case against the uploader
Mm.
because they trained. It's the OpenAI situation all over again. They trained the Chat GPT on all of George Carlin's records and all of his specials, all of which are protected. So one of the key takeaways for everybody when you're writing stuff or when you're taking photographs or publishing films or plays or whatever, go to copyright.gov
Mm.
and register your thing. You don't need me. You do not
Yeah,
need
word.
me to register a copyright. It's $55. If you can buy something on Amazon, you can protect your work.
And you could do multiple copyrights under one, right?
Yep. It depends. If for photographers, you can, I want to say now you can protect up to 750 photos as a collection.
Oh,
That
nice.
number used to be a lot lower. But
Yeah.
come see me, come ask me, hit me up on social. I'll point you in the right direction.
Yes. Hit up.
And I'll be the first one to tell people when they don't need me. Right?
That's
You know, like copyright is registering a copyright is fairly easy, I think.
Yeah.
Trademark's another thing entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different animal.
Yep.
So bringing it back to now Padilla on the creative side of things.
Of AI.
Yeah. I mean, I know, bro. I know you heard of AI Bad Bunny.
I've listened to all of them.
There was actually an artist. I can't tell you the
I
name.
haven't heard
of-
SpongeBob.
So I heard this artist. He actually went viral on TikTok because he did an AI Bad Bunny impression, and he did like if he was a collab with Bad Bunny, and it went viral. And
Yeah,
the song
yeah.
was actually really good.
Fire, yeah.
But Bad Bunny actually heard it, and he got pissed because he was like,
Yeah.
he basically said,
Should.
if you guys are really big fans of me or true fans of me,
Don't
you,
stream
gu-
that shit.
you guys would not stream that shit. I like Bad Bunny. I still
I
stream
felt that.
shit.
You know what I mean? AI is scary.
Traitor.
I feel like AI is scary, and we're just in the beginning phases of AI. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I feel like as for a creative perspective, creatives, when it comes to like making album covers and cover arts and stuff like that, the past 3 have been AI for mine. You know what I mean? And I'm ashamed to admit that a little bit, but like, it's free. You know what I mean? And it's like you can do so many things. You can make it your own. You could say literally, you could just type in something and he's about to say something.
Well, no,
I'm about to get sued.
No.
I'm about to get sued by Dolly.
No. To
We got
your
him.
point.
We got him.
We got him.
To your point,
Yeah.
that album cover
Mhm.
you cannot protect.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Of course.
You know that, right?
I mean, I didn't know that, but
So if the Copyright Office thinks
Mhm.
that artificial intelligence was used in the creation of a work that you have tried to protect,
Oh wow.
Nah.
they will
Nice.
revoke your registration.
So who owns the AI stuff then? Nobody?
So it's because
OpenAI owns all that
Oh,
stuff.
open it. Yeah.
Pretty
wow.
much.
And there's
Wow.
other companies
Okay.
too, but yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
And the other thing that I saw that was coming up as a problem, because when AI first came out, there was people that were making children books.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they
yeah.
found
Oh
a
my
way of
God.
making children books
Sell and
from
stuff
all
on
these
Amazon.
images. But
Annoying.
those images were basically like cut and paste all together from different children's books.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's where
And-
so AI uses that as the.
and
Yeah,
mission,
it only feeds off of a reference point. It's
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No,
it's
that's
feeding from
definitely-
all these different references. And you can kind of compare that to the human mind, but you can't take my soul. So I could write a song and be like, you know what?
Yeah.
My top 5 influences are Jay-Z, Pac,
Mhm.
Nas, Kanye,
Mhm.
Nipsey, and I could do something epic, right? But depending on how I construct that, you may or may not know who my influences are. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
facts.
So like
Mhm.
we're all influenced by something,
Yeah.
but like with AI,
It's
honestly
definitely
it's
gonna
not
be a
really
problem.
it's not really trained in diversity, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. No,
The
you're right.
Things that it's based on who's actually feeding it. And so
Yeah.
the tech space has been divisive for such a long time. But while these things are taking shape, like Tuck's saying, you're seeing these different rules and laws are being being created in real time. It's going to be interesting to kind of watch how these things play out, because eventually it's not
Facts.
always going to be that way. But I always feel like, I don't know, maybe it's cocky arrogance, but I'm like, there ain't no AI that could jack my soul. Like,
No, of
it's not
course. AI
possible.
don't got a soul, but what I feel like it's gonna get to that point that AI may become conscious and we are gonna be fucked. Basically, that I don't know. I mean, I see a lot of conspiracies about it, and I hear a lot of things about it. Like people that worked for Google that made the AI literally
yeah.
got fired because they were about to expose some shit about it becoming conscious or whatever. But
Yeah, I'll bar AI up. That's all I'm saying.
Yo,
They're
facts.
not ready for the AI.
I'll be like, shut down.
Yeah,
I'll just turn off my fucking computer. Bitch, what you gonna do now?
I will bar AI straight up.
But yeah, I feel like AI overall is going to. I don't know. As an artist perspective, I feel like art wise, definitely gonna take some jobs. You know what I mean?
It made certain things easy, but then on the business side of things, like Tuck
Yeah.
said, like I didn't even know about that. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't even copyright the cover. So that's gonna be
Yeah.
something very interesting, because a lot of artists are
Mhm.
thinking, okay, I can make merch out of this. Well,
Yeah,
can
they
you
can't,
copyright
yeah.
it? You know.
Right. That's
Yeah.
true.
So that it's been a very interesting discussion. Since we're coming towards the end of the show here, we first want to ask you guys if you guys have any projects, Padilla, that you would like to promote. Tuck, if you have any
Yeah.
any books that you have currently out that you would like to let everyone know. So Padilla, do you have any current projects? I know you just recently released one.
Yeah, I just recently released a single called "Pretend," which is available on Apple Music, Spotify, all the Deezer, all the all the streaming platforms. I recently last year released a EP called "Sanity." This
Hey.
month I'm working on a 3 or 4 song EP. Kind of some sad shit, being lonely on Valentine's month and stuff like that. So it'll definitely be like a little vibe. You feel me? But I'm definitely releasing something this month. So.
Yes,
Three
sir.
pack.
Pretend is actually a diss track towards AI. You should listen to it.
Yep, I love that.
So Brian, do you have any books that you would like to promote currently?
Why, yes, I do. Now,
Nice.
so I wrote a short. It's 120 pages, and if I had more time to work on it, it would have been shorter. Because everybody's busy as all get out. So this is it's called Risk, Create, Change: A Survival Guide for Startups and Creators, and you can read it in any chapter order you want.
Oh,
There's 10 pages on copyright. There's a little bit about the art of persuasion, right? How to frame issues. There is a chapter about choosing an entity, right? Are you going to be an LLC? Are you going to be a corporation? What your board of advisors should look like? Who are the people around you?
That's
And
fire.
it's available on Amazon. And
Nice.
I think it's a good starting point if you're just, getting started or haven't been at it that long.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's like $15 or whatever it is. And I think it will make you think of things you were not aware of.
Very nice.
I
Very
learned
We'll
a
make
lot
sure we'll
today.
put that in the description, because it is things that people should learn and know. Because again, like, education is one of the largest commodities we have.
Yep.
Yeah, facts.
We have the privilege to hear from people that have more knowledge than us in a lot of different fields. So it's like, take advantage of it. And then you put out a book very reasonably, like, two large cups of Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I ain't going nowhere.
One of
It's
the
not giving you knowledge.
one other thing that me and Nice always talk about is the fact that people usually would say, like, I feel like we live in an era where there's a lot of information. So that's the reason why a lot of artists don't feel like where to start.
Yep.
Because you don't know what's the real
Yeah.
valuable information. And that's the whole point of this podcast, is bringing you valuable information, bringing you resources that you might have never thought of before.
Facts.
And we hope you got the best out of this episode. So are there any last comments that you guys would like to say to our viewers, especially if you met yourself in an elevator like 10 years ago? What would you tell yourself, Jonathan?
I met myself in the elevator.
Don't sign that contract.
Definitely don't sign up for a contract. You dumbass. You doing?
Grow a beard.
Yeah, grow a beard.
Yo.
Go
This
bald.
guy is. They say I'm
Love
petty.
yourself. Right.
Man.
About $1, I don't want to hear it. Oh, Princeton.
They don't know about that.
Right. But basically, what I would say is, be humble, remain humble, always stay humble. What you put out is what you receive. Just love yourself, love others, because you never know what someone's going through.
Big facts.
Yep. And how about you, Tuck?
Geez. What I wish I knew when I was younger is I should have started my own business sooner.
Mm.
Right. I didn't start my solo practice till I was 40. If I'd started it earlier, I think I would have been happier
Yeah.
in those years. So
That's inspiring, though, because
Love it.
start early.
I feel like I'm getting old now and I'm not doing enough. But like people, like even like celebrities have made it when they were older. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
It's actually more common.
yeah.
Yeah.
I taught a class to I forgot the term they used for, but I'll say like more seasoned entrepreneurs where people were in their like 40s and 50s and were starting side hustles. So here I am. I'm like 28 years old.
Yeah.
I wasn't informed of what my audience was going to be for my part of the presentation, and I got there and I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
they might not care about what I have to say, right? So what I did do was change my presentation while I was waiting to make it more relevant to that crowd. And I connected with a lot of people, and I thought
Gotcha.
it was amazing that after I presented, a lot of them came and spoke to me, and they were just so inspired. And I was like, no, you guys actually inspired me, because, here you all are in certain aspects of your careers, but you're still taking an interest in learning and looking to start a business in your 40s, in your 50s. A couple of people I met there were in their 60s.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just amazing. Like, so it's just so much proof. So I feel like what Tuck is saying is like, he wishes he would have done it sooner, right? So for anybody out there, no matter what your age is, just press the start button.
Right. What are you waiting for?
That's it. What are you waiting for?
There you
Literally.
go.
Sir. What you waiting for? Press that subscribe button.
Let's go.
We-
Oh, here you go. Here he goes again.
Empowered.
Make sure y'all pick up that book, Risk, Create, Change. Know what I'm saying? Survival Guide,
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Startups, and Creators.
Yo, Padilla, can you sing subscribe for me real quick for the crowd?
Subscribe for me.
You heard it here first. That's Empower 610.